Okay, I think I'm going to title this video "The Truth of No Truth," which sounds paradoxical, but if you're familiar with Eastern thought and you know, those more that line of thinking that is more resonates more closely along with the East, then you may be familiar with this idea of the paradoxical nature of the truth, and that's just one example of it. So basically, we want there to be a truth, an orderly, objective truth. But there is no order, no objective reality in truth. There are many, perhaps infinite, subjective, seemingly orderly truths, altogether making up chaos. And chaos is not a set thing, for if it were set, then it wouldn't be chaos. Eventually there would be order. It's motion. The nature of chaos, life, what exists, what is, the ultimate, is motion. It's movement, you know. So, something I've always wondered, and you should wonder too, is how can people believe such vastly different things? You know, is it that there are more intelligent people? Are they all flocking to one particular truth? It doesn't seem so. There are many intelligent people of all faiths, and how can that be? How can it be that that people of the same intelligence, not one smarter than the other, believe vastly different things? For instance, two beliefs. One being that God created this world for us to serve Him 6,000 years ago, and has sent His Son 2,000 years ago to die for our sins. Whatever, Christianity. And another person believes that reality is simply an illusion. Both of these people are intelligent, but yet they believe vastly different things. So, you would think that if there were an objective truth, then the more intelligent people would flock to that truth, and the lesser intelligent people would scatter to the various faiths. And you would, you know, because if it were objectively true, then the intelligent would be able to find it. It just makes sense. Now, within each subjective truth, which I speak of, which all things are subjective truths, there may be evidence suggesting it's true. Now, by seeing this evidence and having it resonate within you, you're convinced of its truth. And now this is why people of various different faiths, they claim, you know, to have proof, albeit subjective proof, that their religion is true because they had an experience which proved to them the truth of their faith. Now, they did, I bet, have a very supernatural-like experience, but it doesn't prove their religion. Why? Because the reason it seems to prove their religion is because of their assumptions. We see the world through our assumptions. So, say someone assumes that if God is real, and that's an if God is real, then Christianity must be the true religion because they grew up in America, and that's just a common assumption. Well, if God's real, then Christianity's true. So then they have an experience that they see something supernatural, very outside of their ordinary experience. Okay? When this happens, and so basically you could say that they saw God, or God worked through them or manifested something in his life, in the person's life. Okay, when they see that and they interpret it to be God, then to them that is proof that Christianity is true. Sorry, I keep hitting my nose. But in doing so, in being convinced of the truth of what you believe, you lose sight of the truth. Now, there's nothing wrong with any truth. It is your life, and it's yours to give it whatever meaning you want. So you should believe whatever makes you happy. There's nothing wrong with what you believe right now. Okay? But by believing that your truth is an objective truth, other than the truth of no truth, you're separating yourself from the ultimate. And like I said, that's okay. Because perhaps the idea of there being no truth scares you. You want there to be a truth. And then, for you, find whatever truth makes you happy. And now, for those of you who, what I'm saying appeals to you in some way, think it might be beneficial to think of this idea of no truth as the ultimate truth. Because people desire for there to be a truth. And so when I say there is no truth, they lose interest. Because they want there to be a truth, so they just don't care if there's no truth. Okay, so that's why I say to think of it as the ultimate truth. Now, the Buddhist said that his teachings were a raft. Once you cross the river, there is no need for the raft. Now, the Buddha was a great teacher, but he didn't teach the truth, and the same is true with me. My words are empty, they are meaningless. Now, what can be put into words are concepts, and the truth is non-conceptual, because by putting something into a concept, into a box, you're separating what is from what is not. And at an ultimate level, there is no separation. Many people see this within the New Age movement and within Eastern movements. Many people know this, that there is no separation at an ultimate level. The idea that we're all one is a way of putting it. So, if all truths are equally true, what does this mean? We're all enlightened because we are creating our reality because of our enlightenment. So my eyes are open. Why? Because I realize that my eyes always have been open and they always will be open. In truth, it's impossible for it to be any other way.